Hi everybody and welcome to TNT. Welcome to our first program for 2023 and I'm here at Tree O'Clock, TREE, which has just opened a new little place in the back blocks of Chirumtale in Phuket. A few twists and turns to get here, but you'll find it on Facebook for sure and get directions from there. But it only just opened up and one of a whole new crop of really smart, interesting buildings and cafes and restaurants being built here in Phuket. Welcome to 2023. Welcome to TNT. Hi everybody and Happy New Year. It might still be New Year where you are in the world, but for those of us in Thailand, waking up to public holiday officially, so good luck to you if you've still got the day off, and good luck to you if you're enjoying some of the spectacular weather. Certainly here in Phuket it has just been postcard perfect for the past week, and a lot of people here on the island enjoying themselves. And if you do come down to the island, check out that little place called Tree O'Clock. I found it over and above as far as architecture is concerned. They really came up with something quite special, didn't you think? Okay, so it is New Year, so let's do a bit of New Year's news. And the Prime Minister loses his cool minutes after the Supreme Patriarch urges him to calm down. Take it easy, Thailand's top monk told the PM. The advice was given when the... Midway down there, after leaving the temple, Prayut told reporters that the Supreme Patriarch discussed Buddhism with him and gave him a few tips. Prayut said he was advised to keep calm and to pull himself together, but apparently the advice didn't have any immediate effect. Prayut became visibly irritated when reporters persistently asked him to explain what the Supreme Patriarch meant when he advised the Premier to keep calm. Now, just a bit of background on this. For those people that don't think there's free press in Thailand, you just need to go and see the press in operation, particularly when they're with the Prime Minister, which is the highest elected office, sort of, here in Thailand. So that they go for him. That there's no holes barred, it's gloves off. So if you think there's a great deal of respect between the reporters and the Prime Minister, you don't seem to see it at many of these meetings. Of course, it's done in a very Thai way, and it is done sort of semi-respectfully, but there's no holes barred when it comes to questions to the Prime Minister. And for those people that think there's no free speech here, yes, there are some topics that are a bit taboo, but when it comes to addressing the Prime Minister, they go for it. The Supreme Patriarch didn't say I'm hot-headed, Prayut said in the middle there. That's not what he meant. He then explained, I have to deal with a lot of issues, so the Supreme Patriarch told me to pull myself together and avoid becoming irritated. I replied to the Supreme Patriarch that I've been trying. When pressed about whether he'd any special concerns for the year, Prayut sounded irritated and then quizzed the reporter. And you? Do you have any concerns? Are you concerned when you ask me this kind of question? If you have any concerns, please help me solve the issues. If not, don't help me. Well, that's his sort of usual way. He can get quite tetchy. And then his eyes would have averted and looked into the distance as soon as he'd finished the sentence. I've seen him at work. He concluded by wishing that all those who'd travelled to their hometowns for the New Year break return to Bangkok safe and sound. And it is going to be a very busy day out on the roads today. We're still in this, what we call the 7 days of danger, and there will be some people who will sadly die on their way back to Bangkok today. So please, if you are out on the roads, be a bit patient. Have a break every couple of hours and get home safe and sound. And certainly don't drink and drive. Which brings us to our next topic today, and we go to the Bangkok Post. Patrol police to look brighter and friendlier. Now, as we go through this story, you might think, oh, wonder what they're going to be wearing that brightens them up. Not quite as spectacular as it sounds. And the top paragraph says patrol police will wear Western-style vests to be more visible and look friendlier to people, and some will carry stun guns for safety's sake. Usually they carry a loaded gun, according to the Deputy National Chief. And down the bottom there, existing vests have either grey, red or yellow reflective stripes, so I think all patrol police should be given the same vest design by the end of 2023. So when you see the police out on patrol, they've usually got the brown uniform underneath and they have the safety vest, the high visibility vest on top. Now the new uniform doesn't look that high visibility. Let's read more into it. Senior officers concluded that patrol police should wear black vests with yellow greenish reflective stripes on them. The design would be based on patrol vests in Britain and the United States, according to the police. And there in the second paragraph, they're going to conduct a project to procure stun guns for patrol police. And stun guns will be safe for both police and others while officers are tackling crimes. So probably a good thing that they're wearing stun guns rather than real guns. Let's have a look at this uniform. And, well, I don't know. I don't really see the reflective tape. And it just looks like a black vest to me. And it just seems to me that that's going to be fairly hot and uncomfortable. Now, usually they just have the usual high visibility vests with sort of plenty of yellow and fluorescent red. And I would have thought those sort of flimsy, light vests would have been perfectly adequate. But watch out, you might be seeing police around Thailand wearing some different uniforms during this year. So somehow we made it into 2023. I think there's going to be quite a few stories from last year which will flow on into this year and still have a lot of impact. And obviously we'll follow those as we move through the next 12 months. Thank you for your ongoing support of TNT. If you do get an opportunity, press that subscribe button down the bottom. It doesn't cost you anything. You're not going to get annoying emails from us, but it really supports the channel, and I would appreciate that. And we go to the Straits Times now, and the story, travellers stuck in Asian airports due to flight disruptions after Manila air traffic control glitch. Apparently it was to do with some sort of breakdown of the electricity supply, but it's had, as happens with these airports, had a bit of an ongoing effect to other Asian airports as well. Now, I acknowledge that there's been huge disruptions, particularly around Southwest Airlines in the United States, that's had a lot of knock-on effects for passengers. And these problems with airports and delays are just part and parcel of travelling at busy times at the moment. So I suppose for those people heading into Asia, particularly if you're flying Jetstar from Australia, they've had some massive problems just the last week. And that's a follow-on to some huge problems they had during October and early November this year with not enough planes and not enough maintenance staff to fix problems with the planes they had. The third paragraph here, and it says many travellers were stuck in airports in the region, including in Singapore, Japan and the Philippines, as flights were delayed, turned around, diverted or cancelled due to air traffic control issues in Manila on Sunday. At least 56,000 passengers were affected as of 4 p.m. yesterday, according to the Manila International Airport Authority. So if you're flying to any of those countries that were mentioned, or if you're flying with Jetstar from Australia, I would just double check on your flights and make sure that everything is going to plan, because it looks like there might be just some disruptions for the next few days in relation to the problem they had in Manila yesterday. To our next story today. And Thailand long awaits return of Chinese tourists, says the Thai tourism minister. Now, this is a report, just to take a slightly different perspective, from Xinhua, which is the English-speaking Chinese news authority. So, of course, it will have a pro-Chinese bias. And so we read it with that in mind. And the story says, as one of the many tourism-reliant countries, Thailand is looking forward to the return of Chinese tourists following China's recent announcement of easing restrictions on international flights. You may notice there's no mention of the C word in this. In 2019, Chinese tourists accounted for 28% of the nearly 40 million international tourists in Thailand. Well, that's true, and that's why in many ways it's exciting to think about the Chinese returning to Thailand. If you're running a hotel or a tour business, you'd be excited. But of course, there are also concerns about the current COVID-19 situation in China and how the Thai authorities, indeed the Chinese authorities, are going to be tackling that. More about that coming up in the program. According to the official data from the Tourism Authority of Thailand, international arrivals in 2022 is expected to reach 11.5 million, exceeding the initial target of 10 million. Well, let's just sort of see how we go during the year. I'm sure there'll be a few bumps on the roller coaster ride of countries coming, countries not coming, tourism figures going up and down. We'll be following it, of course, during the year. Now, talk about the new year and calling in the new year can be a pretty heady time if you are a news broadcaster, because you've got feeds from around the world and you're trying to coordinate it. Sometimes it doesn't go particularly well. The Taiwan News reports that CNN confuses Taiwan with Thailand on a New Year's Eve show. And there's a picture there of the caption saying Thailand's capital welcomes 2023 with a photo of Taiwan and Taipei. CNN Hong Kong correspondent Christy Lestout, now she's been around long enough to know her Asian capitals. She was quizzing the Taiwan correspondent about the celebrations in Thailand, which was 1 hour behind. And at 1:03, it said Thailand's capital welcomes 2023 while showing pictures of Taiwan's Taipei. Then at 1:09 a.m, the screen flashed the caption, Bangkok celebrates 2023, while still displaying fireworks from Taipei. And then at 3:37 a.m, showing an actual image of fireworks in Thailand, but labelled the caption, Bangkok, Taiwan. And then Lestout continued to ask Ripley about Thailand, while he would respond with information about Taipei. Now look, these things happen to news reporters around the world, and to all you CNN haters, I'm sure you'll be rubbing your hands together. Of course, the Twitter sphere got involved, as did other social media. Taipei is the capital of Taiwan, a country led by Tsai Ing-wen, who is the president of Taiwan. Halfway down the page, can't offend China if they're talking about Thailand. Well, that's true. And then down the bottom, the US will definitely defend Thailand, or was it Taiwan? Whatever. I can't find either on the map anyway. So there's a screen capture there, pictures of the Taiwanese correspondent and Taiwan Taipei, but says Bangkok celebrates 2023. And at that stage, it was going to be another hour before the fireworks would go up in Bangkok. Let's move to our next story today, and just a bit of a recap and a follow-up of that horrible fire at the casino in Poipet, just across the border from Thailand in Cambodia, and 26 bodies found as search ends at Cambodian hotel fire site. This reported by One News in New Zealand, and the search for bodies in the wreckage of a burnt-out casino hotel complex in Western Cambodia has concluded with 26 people confirmed dead. 17 of the dead were from Thailand, one each from Nepal, Malaysia and China. 6 bodies were yet to be identified, and the Disease Prevention and Mitigation Office in Thailand's Sakao province, just across the border from Poipet, said there'd been 27 deaths, 26 in Cambodia and 1 in a Thai hospital. It said of the 112 people injured, 27 remained in hospital and 85 had returned to their homes. And down the bottom there, Thais made up a large proportion of the guests and employees in the casino complex. So just noting that gambling in Thailand is illegal. A lot of Thais just pop across the border there to enjoy a bit of a flutter in a real casino in Cambodia. So to our next story now, and talking of New Year again, and when you think about New Year, you think about the New Year road toll, and this from the patianews.com, 1,842 traffic accidents, most related to drunk driving, reported in Thailand from December the 31st to January the 1st, which is just 2 days. And noting that this report calls it drunk driving, this is the American terminology, as I sort of seem to have learnt the last couple of years. The British and Australians, for example, call it drink driving, but same thing. The Department of Probation says that there have been 1,842 traffic accidents and there were 1,687 cases, or 91.6%, involving drunk driving. 144 cases, or nearly 8%, concerned drug abuse, and 11 cases, or 0.6%, involving reckless driving. I would have thought reckless driving would have been a much higher percentage than that. And the story says that the provinces with the highest number of drunk driving cases are Nonthaburi, Samut Prakan and Bangkok, which are all neighbouring provinces, basically all part of that greater Bangkok area. To our next story now, and confusion reigns over health rules for Chinese arrivals in Thailand. This reported by the Pattaya Mail. And the story says Thai authorities appear to be adopting a suck it and see approach to COVID concerns about hundreds of thousands of Chinese tourists expected to visit Thailand in upcoming months. And then down the bottom there, while some countries, including the United States, Japan and Italy, we'll go through some of the others in a moment, have announced a requirement to prior PCR tests for all travellers from China, others have decided to lay out the welcome mat without undue restrictions. Just now, Thailand is in that camp, and the Thai Health Ministry has announced that Bangkok will not lay out extra requirements. And then the Health Minister, Anatin Charnvirakul, in comments reported in the Bangkok Post, stated that Chinese visitors, along with all foreign arrivals, will need health insurance. However, Thailand does not, in reality, require health insurance of any kind for short-term tourists in the country. So the Pattaya Mail just throwing out some of the confusion in comments made over recent days. This story in Phuket-go.com does clarify things a bit. COVID screening for international arrivals. This is proposals that were made on Friday and Saturday from the Department of Disease Control in Thailand. And a spokesman saying in the middle of that first paragraph that Chinese visitors will be treated like other foreign visitors and they will not be required to undergo PCR tests when they arrive, but they must show a vaccination certificate and are advised to take out health insurance coverage before departure in Thailand. Now, just noting that a lot of this is proposals at the moment, and it will be decided apparently at a meeting on Thursday. But here are some of the 4 things that have been proposed. Number 1, all international arrivals must have a record of receiving at least 2 shots of the COVID-19 vaccine. So it's saying that if the proposals are passed, you're going to have to show your vaccination certificates again. Just pack them in your bags if you're heading to Thailand at the moment, just in case. Number 2, all international travellers arriving in Thailand from China have to have health insurance package that fully covers COVID-19 treatment. And then number 3 is a bit confusing. It says these travellers, now does that mean Chinese travellers or international travellers? Doesn't say, will be required to show negative results of an antigen test for COVID-19. I just don't think that they're going to reintroduce compulsory PCR tests for everyone. I just can't see that happening. Then number 4, they'll also be asked for cooperation in wearing face masks to practice social distance and wash their hands frequently with hand sanitizer. So look, I think we're going to have to just let things settle down and see what the authorities come up with at this Thursday meeting. If anything is announced before in relation to any COVID measures for travellers out of China or anywhere else in the world, we'll certainly bring you up to date with that in the coming days. And it finishes by saying Thailand's Department of Disease Control is also recommending random COVID tests for arriving passengers at major airports. Japan, the US, South Korea, Italy, Spain, UK, Malaysia, France and Taiwan have already announced arrival restrictions. That was as of Saturday. That could have changed by now. So, as I said, I think we're just going to have to wait and see how international arrival ports are going to be treating the arrival or the expected arrival of Chinese tourists after January the 8th, when the previous COVID-19 restrictions are lifted for international travel. And with that, I thank you very much for watching on this public holiday, our slightly relaxed version of TNT. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the quick update, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.